Recently, you heard President Trump suggest he's going to withhold federal funding, possibly send in National Guard troops if you're elected. Andrew Cuomo has kind of amplified that. What do you say to New Yorkers who say, is this worth the hassle of losing perhaps?
That's a crazy way to start this interview. That is okay, bro. I thought he didn't take such a Vanderbilt-ass position from the start. I thought he would have been somewhat woke. Nope. He just straight up said, hey, I know the president is doing something unprecedented by trying to change the outcome of a local election in the state of New York. But don't you think there's some validity? Let me advance the cynical pattern. It's understandable that you bring that up, right? But that's not how you're supposed to bring that up. You would probably bring that up by being like, how much has this very obvious electioneering impacted your own personal confidence in the race? Something along those lines. You know what I mean? Not like, don't you think New Yorkers should be concerned that if you become president of socialism, then the president of capitalism will come and New Yorkers?
A lot of money in federal funding if you become the mayor.
We're already seeing this as a reality with Eric Adams as the mayor, right? The federal administration took $80 million out of city coffers. They suspended $50 million for our city schools. And then they threatened to withhold $18 billion in infrastructure grants. And the most effective way to push back on his threats is to actually name them for what they are and then use every tool at your disposal to take them on.
So what do you do if he decides? I mean, we already saw there was an ICE action on Canal Street. They said they were targeting undocumented immigrants who were, selling counterfeit bags, which on Canal Street is kind of, there's a long history of that, obviously. What do you do?
I think this is an example of what is unacceptable in this country. I think the first thing that you do is you close the door that Eric Adams opened to the NYPD doing civil immigration enforcement. He said that on national television. The second thing you do...
So you would not allow the New York Police Department to engage or to cooperate with ICE or DHS?
Not in civil immigration enforcement.
Yep. That's in the law, by the way, Anderson. That's the law. That's not just the state law. That's the city law, too. Just because Eric Adams had his literal freedom dangled in front of him to allow this to happen doesn't mean that anyone else who doesn't have those same circumstances is going to continue it. It's bullshit. Remember, this is so against the grain and so new and unique. Donald Trump and his Department of Justice had to use the existing criminal investigation into Eric Adams and his potential freedom to literally get this done. And Eric Adams has actually been in violation of the law to actually allow the NYPD to work alongside ICE.
We have sanctuary city laws where we've been very, very clear that for a set of serious crimes, there is coordination with the federal administration. But anything beyond that, I think 172 crimes that are listed, that is something for the NYPD to focus on purely right here in New York City.
Leading Republicans are trying to make you, in some ways, the new face of the Democratic Party. I'm sure you heard what Speaker Mike Johnson said. He essentially blamed you, at least indirectly, for the ongoing government shutdown. I just want to play what he said.
They're worried about the radical left base that is rising in the Democrat Party, and some of the leading politicians here, including the two New Yorkers who run both chambers, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, are afraid they're going to get a challenge from
By the way, I don't think these guys understand what kind of promotion this does for Zohran Mamdani, because the liberal wine moms that are watching CNN are thinking, oh my God, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are actually doing something, and I like it. And then now you have the leader of the opposition saying they are motivated to do something that you like, if you're a liberal wine mom, a Barbara and a Deborah, because of this fucking brown boy. Okay? That is massive national recognition for the Democratic base. And there is some truth to it. I mean, obviously, that's not the entire reason. Liberals have been very pissed off about this situation for a while now, the inaction from the institutional Dems. So Zohran is just another example of what could happen. If there is some ambition, what could happen if you have a little bit of dynamism, right? So that definitely helps. But the resistance liberals wanted the resistance way before this shit. So when you, leader of the opposition, put the blame on Zohran, that looks really good. Bill Kristol endorsing Zohran Mamdani. Oh, yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Bill Kristol has become unimaginably woke. I don't think you guys have been paying attention to Bill Kristol. It's been very strange, and I hate to admit it. If you look at Bill Kristol's takes, no, not Billy Crystal. No, the war criminal, Bill Kristol, has outflanked the Democratic Party on like 11 different visible points. I think he said stuff like abolish ICE. Like, he is out of control. No, Bill Kristol has been he's been on a tear. It's weird. I don't talk about it too much because he's like obviously a fucking war criminal, but he's gotten so incredibly woke, it blows my mind, dude. If you were to tell me in like 2013 that Matt Taibbi would be against a socialist anti-corruption mayor and Bill Kristol would be for him, I'd be like, you're the dumbest person on the planet. Like, shut the fuck up. I'd be like, what are you talking about? Matt Taibbi? Matt Taibbi. You're telling me Matt fucking Taibbi, who is Mr. Goldman Sachs tentacles, like that Matt Taibbi would be against a socialist mayor in New York. Get the fuck out of here.
A Mamdani-like candidate. And so they have to show a fight, and that's what this is about. The only reason they did it right now is because they're afraid of the rise of the far-left Marxists in their party, and they have to show them that they're going to fight. And real people are hurting during this political game, this showmanship.
Do you believe National Democrats are afraid of you, and Schumer has not endorsed you?
I believe the National Democrats are holding the line right now to actually call the question on the Trump administration, which ran a presidential campaign on the premise of cheaper groceries and is now using the power that they won to make it even harder to afford those groceries. And to hear someone try and pin this on me when what we've actually seen is that Americans just want their health care, they just want to be able to afford their groceries, their day-to-day lives, it shows how out of touch the Republican Party is.
There's a clip.
Bro, even daggers Anderson's throwing his way turned into fucking lobs for an alley-oop, okay? He's just, goddamn, he's good.
Of you that's gone viral from 2023, just 2 years ago. You were speaking at the Democratic Socialists of America. You talked about the importance of international solidarity, and this is what you said.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
And I think that for anyone to care about these issues, we have to make them hyperlocal. We have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck,
yeah. Only interviewed him for less than 4 minutes and still managed to shoehorn a question related to Israel. Lol. That interview was edited like Jeffrey Epstein's prison video, blaming the government shutdown on a New York City mayoral candidate. Lol. This interview is so short, it feels like CNN felt obligated to do it. Looks like Anderson Cooper is less interested in Mamdani's answers, more interested in labeling him a certain way. CNN is promoting the billionaires on Andrew Cuomo's agenda. Mamdani's great. Horrible interview by Cooper. Anderson Cooper APAC is fascinating. Any former leadership in the U.S. appears to require loyalty to Israel. Nice try, CNN. So you had him on for 30 seconds to try and humiliate him. It's over. And no one cares about this last minute hit job. Props to Mamdani for standing his ground. Absolute trash journalism. God damn. Okay.
it's been laced by the IDF.
What does that mean? I mean, that was just 2 years ago. What does that mean that the boots of the NYPD have been laced by the IDF?
It was a reference to training exercises that have taken place between the NYPD and the IDF, and I've spoken.
And not only that, but also all local police departments, every single major precinct in this country has had a cop that has gone to Israel to get training. This is in the ADL's own fucking documents. They promote it. They talk about it. They say, look how awesome this is. Go back, go find it. ADL's 2016, promotional material openly says that. Yes, Superman knows a lot about this stuff. Have you not seen the latest Superman movie? Superman is very, very invested in what's going on in Jarampur and Baravia, okay?
Spoken
So
again.
do you still believe that the NYPD is basically working in hand in glove with the IDF?
No, what I've made very clear is those are training exercises that were of concern to me, and what my focus is on working with the NYPD to actually deliver public safety for New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs. And I've made the decision to retain Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch because of her record in being able to deliver that safety, reducing crime across the 5 boroughs.
That's new. Previously you wouldn't say that you wanted to retain her.
Dude, Anderson Cooper, what the fuck? Bro, what the fuck is this? Dude, this is so contentious, brother.
Or you were saying point blank. I mean, she's helpful. She's done a remarkable job, it seems, lowering crime rates.
What I've said throughout the course of the campaign, I think since April, was that I would consider it because I think these decisions are very important. They're ones that you have to actually take your time with.
I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Real pleasure.
Do you have a positive or negative stance with Jessica Tisch? Very negative. Very, very negative.
Young.
She is the daughter of incredibly wealthy New York financiers. and also super fucking pro-Israel, like unimaginably pro-Israel.